Well, it's election day. The polls are open, and I'm excited about casting my vote. Now, we hear a lot, especially in the Christian community, about the importance of us praying for elections and participating, voting. And I've had several people ask me, well, I am praying, but I'm struggling sometimes with making a choice for a candidate. I know that happened in this last election. Well, for me personally, and I'll just share it with you, there's three biblical principles that play a role in my decision making when it comes to casting my vote. Three factors. The first one is the morality factor. Proverbs 14:34, we're told that righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. In Proverbs 29:2, we're told, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Morality is important. I know it's outdated these days, but it's very important, especially to the Lord, and it ought to be for those who trust and believe Him. Now, when I think morality, I'm thinking of things like abortion, marriage, faith issues, religious liberties, Israel, right and wrong, law. And so I'm looking for a candidate that believes in these things, or I'm looking for the candidate that has the greatest belief and support in these things. Now, in this last election, there was a uproar among the Christian community about this type of issue. Now, for me personally, I'm not looking for a pastor. I am a pastor. Well, I hope you have a pastor. I'm not looking for a priest. I have a priest. Jesus is my high priest. I'm looking for a political candidate. I'm looking for a president. And I'm looking for morality, their stand on morality. Now, sometimes we don't have the privilege of having a candidate that is the most moral. Now, I wish every candidate was a Christian, but that's not always going to be the case. And sometimes it's going to come down to choosing which one is the most moral. I know a lot of believers have a hard time with that, the lesser of the two evils. But the way our system works, we get a primary, we get to pick who's going to represent the party we're affiliated with, and then it's going to come down to two or three to choose from. And so we make that choice based on that. The next factor is the taxation factor. In Matthew chapter 22, the religious leaders asked Jesus if we were to pay taxes. And He asked for them to show Him a coin. He asked whose image was on it. They said Caesar's. And then He made that famous statement that most of us know. He said, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." So Jesus was telling us that we were going to pay taxes. It belongs to the government, that money, and their portion we should pay to them. So I believe the higher the taxes, the bigger the government. The bigger the government, the less individual liberty we're going to have. Also, the higher the taxes, the less money I'm going to have, and for myself, my family, for my church, and to help others. So I'm looking for a candidate that's wanting less taxes and believes in less government. Finally, it's the submission factor. In Romans 13:1, Titus 3:1, we're told to submit to the governing authorities. As I said earlier, when all the votes are counted and the candidate that's on the ticket wins, we're going to submit to that individual. And we have a privilege in this country. We have been blessed by God to have a say in that choice, to be able to have our voice heard in that selection process. And so I'm looking for morality, I'm looking for taxation, I'm looking to who I would rather submit to. Once again, it might not be the type of individual that I would have picked, but when it's all said and done, I'm going to have to choose one that's on the ballot. because I'm going to submit to that individual. So I'm excited about the election. I hope you are too. If you haven't already voted, I hope you're going to vote today. I encourage you to keep praying for our nation, for our leaders, for our elections. But I also encourage you to participate. If you haven't voted today, vote. Because elections matter. That means your vote matters. So I encourage you to participate and continue praying. And I'm praying that as we do, God will continue to bless America.